is the Motovation Podcast, hosted by Laurie Joy Kingwell and Krissy Vann. That's me. And we're taking you on a little off-roading.
And every single week, we're going to be joined by our dope friend, Richelle from True Grit Moto.
Woo! Hey, I floss.
And every week, we are going to ask each other stupid questions, and we're going to answer them. And why, you may ask? Because we can. All right, this is your Motovation
Off-road edition.
What is the dumbest way you've ever hurt yourself?
Oh God, where would
Laurie,
I begin?
Oh, Krissy. Actually, all of you.
Yeah, 100%. Where I think I might have mentioned this one already. I was on a fence jumping to go off when I split my vagina open.
You might have
I
already
think we've done
one.
this question.
Okay, then scrap
You
it.
guys go. I'll think of a second one. There's lots.
Going home.
I'm out of here.
Get out of here, Chelsea.
Here, repeat yourself. I'm out of here.
All right, she's going to have to think. Because I was like, mine was going to be my ninja wall, but I know I've shared that as well.
Yeah, think of our second most ridiculous injury. It has to be where we injured, right? Yeah.
What's the question?
Your second most notable injury. I actually haven't ended up like horribly injured on many occasions, just a lot of like bumps and scratches and scars. Very grateful for that. I did fall out of a house once holding pizza.
That's worthy. That's mentionable.
There was definitely like drinking involved for sure. And you know, when it's dark and there's like 2 steps of normal size and then one that's like, I don't belong, but I'm attached to the stairwell. So you misjudge it.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those where I stepped and the step was way further down where I thought it was. So I did like a drop down and roll, but I also was holding like fresh hot pizza. And you know, when you have the drunken munchies and you're like, I'm so ready for this moment. So I like basically sacrificed my body.
I was just going to say, did you save it?
Your husband would be so proud.
Right?
Yeah.
And I did save the pizza.
The
It was one
party
of those
slow
like
clap.
victorious when you land on the ground and you're like, woo, I got it. And everyone's like, yeah, she did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's impressive.
I mean, I did cut myself on the ironing board at our hotel as well. All of a sudden, remember in Portland, I like jumped on the ironing board and then all of a sudden I looked and I was like,
you proper
like
busted.
And also the ironing board was broken. Very, very sorry for our hotel.
I need to hear more about the story later on.
Basically, that was it.
Okay, good. I love that. You know what I always do? Every time I go to hammer something, I always hit my finger.
I regret
every
handing
time.
you. Literally, you asked me for a crowbar today, and I gave you a hammer, and now I
You
realize
did.
that was misjudgment.
I'm always like, here's the nail. Then I'm like, bah! Every damn time, man.
Chelsea, what's your injury?
I went, I was going out. I think I was, I don't know, like 18 or something. And I went to run back upstairs. So stupid to get a cookie. And y'all know me. Like, I don't even eat sweets like ever.
I
went
love
back upstairs
cookies.
with my heels on. And then I went to go back downstairs to leave. And my heel caught the top stair. And I went down the next 8, like face first. Landed on the landing, like the tile landing on the front door. And I don't know how, because like it would have been downstairs and around a corner where my dad was sitting and watching I think hockey. But the second I landed, he like was there with his hand on my back, and I had knocked the wind out of myself. So I like
That's the worst feeling.
couldn't breathe. But it's my own stupidity. I'd gone up like with the heels on, rushing down the stairs, cookie in my freaking mouth.
Oh,
And
no.
I went to lift my head and there was like blood all in front of me, but my mouth was like kind of locked and I had a cookie in my mouth. So we were trying to figure out where am I bleeding from? Like, was it in my mouth? Was it on my head? So I lifted my head and see the scar. It was all under my chin that had opened up.
Did you get stitches?
Oh yeah. So my dad picked me up, stuck me in the car, and he was like, Chelsea Jane, do not look at it. Just keep that bandage, just hold it. He's like, do not look at it. What do I do the second he puts me in the car and walk around? Flip down the mirror and look at it and start screaming.
My face is open.
I was like, I'm never gonna look the same again. Like, lost my mind. But yeah, ended up having to get stitches down here, and it's my own stupidity. I really didn't need the cookie, and why run down the stairs in heels? Come on.
You learned a lesson that day.
Sure did.
It's funny. We talk about like these things. And as we're talking, the reel of injuries and stupidity is just going. And I'm thinking, wow, I really don't realize how many stupid injuries until you talk about it. And then just memory after memory, like busting my tooth in the back of my mouth because I was like playing basketball with a guy that had the hugest crush on, and I was way too close, like aggressively, stalkily guarding him. He went up. This is a fake tooth because of it. It shoved my tooth like, you know, at a 90-degree angle in the back. Cause I remember being like, is it bleeding? And their faces were like, and I was like, I think it's bleeding. I remember reaching in my mouth to touch it and it wasn't there. And then I kept reaching and then I felt it and realized, oh, this is bad news bear.
And were you like, hey, do you still want to go out with me?
And I was just like, you wait right here, snickerdoodle. I'm just going to fix myself up and be right back.
What's with you and bloody mouth on when you're trying to court these men? That's the second.
I don't know, man. I keep thinking it's going to work. Never has.
Well, you did.
Well, yes, it has. It did. It did the second time round, or maybe that was the fifth, if I'm really honest with myself. But I just
still very impressive,
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of memories flooding back. Oh, that's a good one. That was a good question.
See, we just had to dig a layer deeper.
Right. All right. Do you have an entertaining story about learning to drive a car when you were a young buck?
Yeah.
Oh,
I do.
Okay, so when I was actually pretty old. I was older, and my mom's boyfriend at the time had an old, like an 80s Ford Ranger or a 90s Ford Ranger, and it was standard. And I knew how to drive it. Like I had been driving, and I don't know what my problem was, but I got into the driveway and the car started rolling and I started freaking out. So I opened the door and I was like, Mom, the car's rolling. It's rolling. And she's like, put your foot on the brake. And I put my foot on the brake and it was all good. But
Go figure.
I just didn't get it. You know, I was like, I didn't understand the concept of clutch and I was just doing it like automatic. So, you know, I felt so stupid. I'll never forget it though.
Put your foot on
the brake. She was so mad. She's like, shut the fuck up. Put the foot. It puts the foot on the brake.
So mine's less a learning to drive one that I recall, but when I was learning to ride, I think I've mentioned before, I'm not someone that just hops on I'm not a mechanical learner. Like I literally need to logically know what's happening. And then eventually my brain clicks and then I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. And then I'm steady Eddie. But when I was first learning, because of that same thing, like the concept of like clutch, brake, all the things, I'm like putting it together slowly. And so because of that, what do you do when you're like practicing all those roll starts? You stall out so often. But because of like, I don't know if it's like the length of my legs or the bike that I was on, but my lady bits were so bruised from like dumping the clutch and like kind of like just kind of going boom into the tank.
No
way. At the time, I wasn't really like aware, but I just remember waking up the next day being like, oh my God, what's wrong? And it
what
was like
happened?
Extremely tender.
My vagina.
I broke my vagina learning how to ride a motorcycle.
Smashed my china pot.
Smash the china pot.
Like the first time you go to spin class, you're like, oh, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
So a bit of a learning curve.
That's a good one. That's very entertaining.
I love that.
Chels.
Oh, I was with my dad and I remember it was the first time we were going out to drive, like not just slowly moving it in a parking lot. We went to actually go around the block and we were taking a corner. And I remember, you know, that moment where you kind of panic and you slam on the gas instead of the brake.
Oh yeah.
Did that. And I was going directly for the two mailboxes by my elementary school. I remember them distinctly. And so quickly, like my dad pulled the e-brake and like we didn't hit them. And I remember looking down and looking at him and I was like, how'd you do that so fast? And he's like, I've had my hand there the whole time.
Yes.
I was like, no faith in me. He's like, well, you know, day one.
He's like, we're all learning. I know it's like to be a learner.
He's like, I knew you'd probably panic at some point. So I was ready. I'm like, well done.
What a dad.
Yeah. The best.
Hero.
Yeah. Laurie.
Mine was, I think one of my more entertaining stories was the day I went to take my license. And when I get nervous, again, shocker, spoiler alert, I talk a lot. And as we were going, and I remember it was a specific gal that's like a mom from a gal at school and she's a hard ass. And I was just like, oh, so it made me even more nervous. So I talked even more and we get to the end of it and we stop and I'm like, so I look at her and I'm just like, well, how many did I get off? And she's like, she kind of got this like dumbfounded look. She looks at me and she's like, none. You had a perfect drive. And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, yeah. And I don't understand it because you didn't stop talking the entire time. and I was like, oh yeah. And then she says, even at the uncontrolled intersections, you didn't even stop your story, but you checked both sides.
It's genius.
Oh, and the ironic part about it is that that's actually when I'm my worst driving is when I'm talking. Like,
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like when people are in my car, I'm a terrible driver because I'm not quite paying that attention. Whereas if I'm on my own, I'm like fantastical. I'm fine. But on my own, I'm just like, this isn't the safest. So I don't know how but I just remember the look on her face and even like going in and me being like, Mom, I didn't get any off and like kind of thing. And she, Mrs. Jordan was her name. She was just like, I have no idea what just happened. Like
she probably wasn't paying attention. She was probably like,
maybe she was
my
like,
eyes.
what did she say? And she's just like watching the story and she's like, I'm forgetting to pay attention to this. That's part of the magic is keep them distracted. And they don't notice.
She's like, maybe if I just pass her, she'll not come back here.
Yeah, that was probably it. She's like, you're a great driver. Please never come back. Leave immediately.
Yeah, the other night you were talking to us in the car. Nearly you turned into that truck.
Yes, this is what I mean. I just about smoked a car.
I think it's me. What was your favorite recess activity as a kid?
Trying to make friends.
Oh. Alas, your heart.
I'd be like, hey, what's up? I got these snacks here. You want to make a trade or maybe hang out?
Wheeling and dealing.
Are you building a mud cake here? Because I'm pretty good at putting it in the oven. Are we playing horse and carriage? I could be the horse. I'll never forget that one. And the person was like, no.
Oh my God.
Oh, cute little bum bum. Come on.
Oh, I super love that.
I'm glad we found you.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Big time.
You got to admit though, making friends is pretty fun when you're trying it. You know, it's like dating, but you're trying to find a friend.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you're just like, want to be my friend? Cool.
Yeah.
It's not like that as a grown up.
When you're a grown up and you move to a new city, you try out Bumble BFF, you start going to a bunch of networking events and be like, oh, fascinating. Like it's a fun journey.
Oh.
I remember even in I would have been in college or no. I just moved to Calgary and I had like no friends at all. I would have been 19 years old. I had one friend that lived there. I went to this like little gathering and this gal, Jana, who's one of my closest friends to this day. I was in her wedding actually. And that night we got drunk together and I remember joking and being like, I'm going to be in your wedding one day, like kind of latching on and having this great night. And she was like, yeah, you should call me. But like kind of meant it as like, call me, don't ever call me. This was a one night thing. I though was like, didn't have new friends. And it was my first time leaving my hometown sort of thing. And I was used to having this abundance of friends. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go out on a whim. And I called her and it was like calling somebody that you were calling to ask out on a date. And she didn't even live in the same city as me. She lived in Edmonton and I was in Calgary. But I was just like, hey, remember me from the other night? And blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh yeah. And we ended up talking. And then for about 6 months, we would like email and call each other I'd say once a month. And then she was like, hey, I'm going to be in Red Deer. Do you want to meet up? While I'm there, this is when now, half a year later, I'm going to college there. And I was like, yeah. And I actually had to say to her, can you send a picture of yourself? Because I don't actually remember what you look like or like, what are you going to wear? And so when we saw each other at the bar, we were like, oh my God, this is you. Because I couldn't really remember what she looked like, but we had developed this friendship. What I didn't realize at the time and what I learned later on, she wasn't the type of person to like meet new friends. She was more that person's like, I got my core friends. I don't really need new friends. So for someone like me to come in and to like really just penetrate that really and just like, hey, I'm a stranger to you, but I would like to be your friend. She was like, this is strange, but okay. But we're making friends. It really was like as a kid, and even like it didn't have Bumble and stuff like that. So you really had to it felt like dating a bit. Even as a little kid, I remember walking up to people was like, I'm an employee and would you be my friend?
I
Can you please be my friend?
Into elementary school, not knowing anyone, and it must have been JK. And I distinctly remember walking down the little stairs into the school, and like all the people that have friends already are chatting.
Oh, yeah.
And I made up a word, and I was just going economa. Like,
Whatever that girl is.
Did it work?
Oh, well, yeah. I was gonna say, did it work?
Like, what's that? I know. I think it was like just pretend you're talking because everyone else is.
They probably thought you had.
Oh,
I had a lot of imagination.
Wait a minute. You would walk up to people and try and join the conversation. Am I hearing that right?
Oh, no. Like I was just in the crowd. It's like noisy and everyone's conversing, and I didn't want to look. It was like a first day thing. I wouldn't like every day just be.
No, I get that. I'm just literally picturing you were trying to make it look like you were part of the chitter chatter.
Yes.
By making so you just walked around saying a word so that if someone glanced in your direction, they would be like, look at, she's part of it. She's part of the hustle and bustle.
She gets economic.
That might be one of my new favorite kid stories.
That's a fun fact. I've never.
Yeah, I love that.
I was preparing for my debut.
Look
You're
at that.
genius.
You knew. Wow.
So back to recess.
Right.
That's
right.
Laurie.
Swings.
This doesn't surprise me.
Were my favorites, still are my favorite. I still will go different times in my life where I go to a park and just go swing on the swing set. It is like, for whatever reason, all my worries dissipate. I have a freeing feeling. I loved the swing. So did every other kid. Like,
so you're a swinger.
I'm a swinger.
You're a natural born swinger.
I feel alive when I'm swinging. Swing sets all day.
Chelsea.
You are pretty long though. I feel like anybody that was long was really good on the swing sets.
Especially the ones with no kneecaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just no wind resistance.
You're like the opposite of a flamingo, really.
I was gonna say, no, it's actually the opposite. My big flat knees were like a parachute holding me back from really getting high, I think.
A parachute.
Just like catching the wind, resistant. Anywho,
Anywho.
My recess adventures were usually like making up dances.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh,
making up numbers with the other dancer girls in the class, or
yeah,
even just anybody that wanted to be a part of it. Oh yeah, making up scenes, numbers,
right,
whatever, songs.
Were you a dancer?
Yeah.
Hello. Are you a dancer?
Hello. Come on.
I know she was a lead performer on a cruise ship, like the lead singer dancer.
I know you sing. Okay, all right.
Now you learned something new about me today.
The dancing thing hasn't been prominently displayed in conversations. I grant her that. Comparable to the singing.
Fine.
I feel like because I wasn't in that epic Portland trip,
where
I didn't get to hear about all the dancing.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh no! You're in your feels.
Watch out! They'll get you.
They get you.
Don't mess with me right now, right? I'm feeling it.
Wasn't the same without you.
Yeah, I bet.
Mine was Red Rover.
Ooh.
Till it got banned.
That's been banned.
Julia Kim flipped over the arm into a sewer grate.
There's always one that ruins it.
It's been banned from like all schools for a long time. People would get
why?
hurt.
Yeah, I could see. You clothesline yourself essentially.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's dangerous for sure.
So until it was taken away from us, that I loved Red Rover.
Oh yeah.
Red Rover, send Laurie over. And
you always had that one asshole that would like punch at your arms as it went through.
Yeah.
And you knew they were coming and you knew they were going to get punchy and you almost just like let go at the last second. You were just like, oh, they broke it. Look at that. Like, 'cause you were just like, I ain't getting punched for this.
I'd try like a high jump situation. Like,
well,
you try and jump it? Oh, you're nuts.
I was like 4 feet too, so it didn't work out very well. I was really bad at like anything physical as a kid.
Oh, that surprises me.
Oh, I was terrible at sports. And like I think I've said this before. I collected participation ribbons. Like I fucking loved participating. I was
Me
on
too.
the swim team mainly because everyone made the cut, but I didn't know how to swim. I came in dead last in every heat. Yeah, and then everything else, like there was a lot of even back then.
I'm surprised right now. You seem sporty. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was not at all. I tried.
She is
It was
not
just,
the
like,
sporty
really
slice.
bad.
Yeah.
But makes
Well,
up
you're
for it.
excellent at being a friend. So
That is your strength. You get more than a participation award for that, girl.
you're so strong at it.
It's funny because when I like, you know, how you have a box of things. So like, I don't really have a childhood home anymore. And so then I had this like final little box at my in-laws. And I was like, oh, I want to send the box now that I have a place here, but I need to pare it down even further. So literally my personal things from youth are like one little box. And I had all those participation ribbons and I threw them out, but it was such a like, it was hard to let go.
That would be so sad.
But I was like, I don't need this. But the memory.
I found all my figure skating patches. Only did figure skating until I was probably like, I don't even know, 8 or something like that. But I've got, for whatever reason, like a ton of participation from all the little competitions and stuff. So I have them, and I've got an older coat, and I'm going to put them on my coat.
Yes.
And properly sew them or glue them down. And just been like, whoa, check it out, participation, figure skater.
Oh my God, please wear that riding. Put them on riding jacket.
Yes.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. So I was like, I've got a little baggie ready to put on one of my coats. I was just like, oh, I'm absolutely decorating a coat and wearing this.
Yeah.
My little figure skating patches. All right, Richelle, I think, we got 2 questions left, yours and Chelsea's.
This happened to me the other day and I was very annoyed by it because, you know, what's the most annoying thing to forget when you're doing life things? Okay. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Because this happened to me.
Okay.
I went to go put insurance on Goldie Honkers, my new Goldwing, and I forgot my void check to do monthly payments. So I had to pay for the whole thing.
Do you know on your online banking, you can access your void checks?
Yep. Sure. If you got a computer and you want to take your time to do that.
Or the app.
Well, I'm with Vann City and they don't offer that on that.
Oh, fair. There it is.
Bullshit.
There it is. That is bullshit.
Yeah, that is such bullshit. Because the lady actually brought it up. She was like, listen, you can go into your online banking, blah, blah, blah. And then we went in and she was like, oh, actually, you can't do that with Vann City. So I was like, instead of a year, I'll take 3 months.
Right.
But I was so annoyed. I was like, really? Like, that's the one I have a void check specifically for this. Like, why don't I just take a bunch of void check copies and just put them in my wallet for a rainy day? You know, it was so annoying. I was so annoyed.
You don't want those to get lost though.
Definitely not.
You have subscriptions everywhere, but you don't know about them.
Yeah. Anyway,
I would say I have one big annoyance and a minor one, but the minor one feels bigger now. So the one big one is if I'm going to return something and I think I have the receipt and then I get there and I cannot find the receipt.
Yeah.
I realize it's in like a jacket or a purse. And I'm like, son of a, because you go out of your way to go there to return this thing. And so it's like a block of this time. And they're like, do you want a credit? And you're like, no, I don't. I want to return it because I forgot my damn receipt. So it's just this like hour of your life you can't get back.
I hate that we are ruled by fobs. So many fobs for all. First of all, I was tired today and trying to get in my building with my fob for work that's on a chest badge, just scanning over and over, being like, why is this not working? Not the right fob. And then I would say the worst thing, this just happened to me the other day, all geared up on my motorcycle, ready to go, which also motorcycle's a fob. Getting into my place is a fob, but my garage gate is also a fob. And that was
my God,
not on my person. So then it's like, take the bike back. I kept my helmet on in the elevator. Like, it's just, you know,
I hate that.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Of like
the car's a fob now. Like, I do miss keys because I'm like, keys, you physically have to like put it in the thing, whereas the fob's easier to be like, I don't know, it's in my bag, it's in this thing.
I'm retro. Nothing on my person's has got a fob. I'm one key and they're usually bent. That's it.
Yeah. Usually bent.
Because I'm always sitting on my keys.
Keeping it old school.
Keeping it old school. They're back there with my wallet.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
And maybe it's not so much a thing, but when you forget like an important day, like someone's birthday or like your anniversary, and like you're like, fuck, I look like the asshole.
Yeah, especially once it's been Instagrammed, and then you're like, ooh, they know it's the only reason why I know.
Yep. Yep. You pop up with the happy birthday and they're like, you just saw my post, you dick. Like, no. Yeah. Those aren't fun.
No.
Or you forget a friend date. They're like, I'm here. You're like, where?
Too, but for fun, where's here?
I thought it's a wonder that you made a great friend. I just want
to see if you know, but where are we?
No, isn't it? No, I see.
Surprise. I switched it up and I booked us an appointment 5 minutes from my house.
Actually going to my dentist. Get excited.
Classic.
I've been doing that a lot lately though, where I'll be like, yeah, let's go for a ride after work. And then I'm not at work.
Nope.
It's happened twice now. I'm like, I'm not coming. I'm sorry.
They're like geared up at your work.
I'm home. I'm in the shower. I don't want to leave. I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm so sorry.
That's why my calendar has saved my life, because everything thinks for me. And when I have days like I did today, I have an alert that goes off 10 minutes before the next thing. So I don't have to think about anything.
Oh, it's so
I just have my phone telling me where I need to be next, because I find that I'm just like, oh my God, I had this. Oh God, I had this.
So much. Every day I would like probably just be in a puddle of tears by Wednesday. Just be like, I can't do this anymore. I will show you on my phone how much I hate notifications. That 62 text messages.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When people,
I'm just
notifying
like,
me. Yes.
Reminded of things, and then I just like let it ride.
You're like,
so if
I just don't get back to
you, that means you're important in my life.
Yes.
Yep.
I do not. I'm with you though. I do not have notifications that outside. Well, like throughout the day, I have like where it's silent sort of thing, but it's my notifications that I know I need. Outside of that, because just like you said, it's like ding, 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 ding. It's like, no, make it end. I would rather have no friends and no family members for this to stop. Like, so it's one of those, like when I mentally can go grasp it, but I need the dings for sure to say like, hey, you have 10 minutes before you have a family you need to call. Otherwise I'd be 10 minutes after being like, I have a family right now, which has happened numerous times.
It feels really good when you have that one day where you're like, oh, I'm so glad I have all these people and they're messaging me and I feel really good looking today and I'm clean and I ate something and look at all these texts. I feel important and I love that. I have one day out of the month where I'm like, yeah, girl, get it.
Killing it.
I was going to say, I usually have one day where I always have to remind myself that on especially days like the past couple where it's like back to back to back to back meetings and things like that. And I'm always like, you just remember that all of those things you actually enjoy. And then I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, how am I gonna? And I'm like, just remember individually, you love each one of those things. I'm like,
you love this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that helps because then it doesn't look busy. It just looks, you got a bunch of fun things today. Get goddamn excited.
You really got to talk yourself into it. I think it's like, it's a whole
just reframe. It's the reframe. Because it's true. I don't have anything booked in my day. Like say you had a dentist appointment in the midst. Okay. Maybe that's not, but like technically all the things that I have, I enjoy doing. But when you see it back to back, you think like, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That was like the week, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I had dentist appointment cleaning, dentist appointment cavity filling the next day, and then pap smear.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, who made this schedule? I did. Because apparently I hate myself.
Then the reframe would be like, I love my body. enough to care for it. I love my body enough to care for it. Just like
I am
Oh,
being
God.
preventative.
at least, yeah, we have healthcare. How thankful. I can get my teeth clean. How thankful. Always the reframe.
Always the reframe. It
Wow.
helps so much.
Wait, that was Chelsea's last, wasn't it? Or no?
Oh no,
No,
but
Chelsea,
have
you got one
Sorry.
more.
I'm like used
It's
to
okay.
having the questions in
It's
advance.
true.
Sorry.
No, wait a minute. We have to say it to Chrissy's time. Are you even listening?
Are you even listening?
I
Are you listening now?
listen.
Forgot
Forgot about that song.
That's actually a really good segue into what I'm going to ask you.
Ah,
Knew it, guys, because I was listening before it even happened.
She knew.
She knows.
well played.
Let's
Okay.
kill her.
So, what do you think is the worst song ever?
Worst song ever?
Ever. Or that you just really hate the most?
Look at this photograph.
Oh,
Like,
Nickelback.
honestly, the time of our lives when that came out, it was like you had 5 radio stations and they were all playing them because it's Canadian content. And I literally have cut my hand trying to like stab and change the station. And then you know when it's the worst? When all of a sudden you like press option 2 on your car and you're like, fuck, it's also the song.
It's again
So yeah.
Nickelback. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Fair. I'm also not a very big fan of Kid Rock.
Yeah.
I try. I really do. I think the only song I really like,
Bang to bang.
And Cowboy.
I think the only song I really like is the one where he sings a Sheryl Crow, and even
Oh,
then I get
Victor.
cringe.
I hate that song.
Yeah.
Mine is anything ABBA.
Oh, that hurts.
Really?
my
Really?
soul.
Yeah, I really don't like ABBA. I don't know. I didn't care for it in either way. I was just like, all right. But I worked at a center that for whatever reason, every morning, the gal that worked across the hallway played it on a loop, the damn ABBA CD. And I was just like, make it end. Make it all end. And so as soon as I hear it, I'm like, no, turn it, stop it, end it now.
No.
So it sounded like a
never
good
was able
remix.
to watch
Turn it, stop
Mamma
it,
Mia
end
because
it.
of it. That movie, the Mamma Mia that came out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't been able to watch it because isn't it all ABBA?
It's
ABBA,
all
yeah.
ABBA.
I'm just like,
You
make
couldn't
it
do
end.
it.
Make it end. Stab my ears out.
Richelle. Oh, you were also on the Nickelback train?
She was Kid
Kid,
Rock.
Kid Rock.
Wow.
Are
sorry.
you even
Are you
listening?
Are you even listening?
Oh, I had a stroke.
Do you even care?
Do you even know me at all?
Mom, I don't want to talk to you again. Leave me alone.
Mine would be I have a few, but I feel like
If it steals your sunshine.
that's one of them. Len, the Sunshine, and Krissy sang it in my ear in
Really?
Portland for the whole drive, and I was like, "Ooh, I might smack you."
I was like, do you still hate it when I sing it?
Yeah.
Like,
She's like, maybe more. Maybe more.
my sunshine.
What is it? Is it the
She like
sound
turns-
or?
She's when she does it.
I love it.
Hate that song, but also I can't listen to "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" by Shania Twain.
What?
Okay.
I also don't like that song.
But hear me
Oh.
out. It's not so much the song itself. It's that for 9 months on a cruise ship, I had to sing that, and I was in a red velour jumpsuit that
I love
was
it.
too big for me, but they had
I
to
love
take it
it.
in, but they couldn't take the material out. So I just looked very plump in it. I looked like I called it it was like my fat Santa suit. And it was a country show that I also didn't like, but that outfit made me look huge. That when I would see the passengers on the ship, they'd be like, "You're the singer? Is that number in the?" I'm like, "I know, the red velour Santa suit. I don't actually look like that in real life." Anytime I hear dun 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 dun, 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 I'm like, "No,
Let's go, girls.
I
Let's
can't.
go, girl.
I can't. I can't."
Wow. Yeah, I could.
Man,
That
you
would.
didn't feel
Yeah.
like
That,
a woman.
No, I felt like Santa.
no. I feel
feel
like,
Like a
Santa.
woman.
I feel like Saint Nicholas.
Going out
Man.
tonight. My sleigh's gonna be
Feeling
alright.
all right.
Gonna go over the pole.
Oh shit,
well,
that's good.
It
I
didn't
also really hate
disappoint.
All Star by Smash.
I won't ever play that song for you. I swear.
Please don't. I can't.
I feel like we haven't have to. I'm thinking actually the opposite. I feel as though one of our nights that we go together that each of us has to play the song that we can't stand and then witness the person having to
Sit through it.
Oh,
I wanna
while
know
the
what
rest
this
of us
velour
lean
tracksuit
hard
looks like.
into it.
Game.
Do you have
And
pictures?
lean
'Cause I'd love
hard
to dress
into
up
it.
like you for Halloween.
Right.
Right?
Well, Chelsea, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for having me, pals.
And here's the thing, all of your questions were just off the cuff. We always have time to think on it. So well played, well done. All you folks out there, as always, this is your motivation.
Never say that. You just went off-roading with the Motovation Podcast, hosted by Laurie Joy Kingwell and myself, Krissy Vann.
And of course, a special thank you to Richelle from True Get Moto.
Whoop, boss it.
Never miss an episode by hitting like or subscribe. Connect with us on Instagram at Motovation Podcast and visit our website at themotivation.com. And in the meantime, full tanks, full throttle.
I think this is good though. It's like healthy, you know? Like people will be like, oh my God, I don't floss.
Plus, it's going to be so hard not to laugh to get through this intro.